All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm V. Ravi Kumar and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. States gear up to open religious places, shopping malls, restaurants and hotels from tomorrow. Religious places in Uttar Pradesh to open with additional restrictions. Churches in Goa not to open from tomorrow. Delhi government asked private hospitals not to deny admission to suspected COVID-19 patients. Indian naval ship Jalashva carrying 700 stranded Indian nationals to arrive in Thoothukudi today. OPEC and its allies agree to cut oil production by about 10% till July this year. States and union territories are gearing up to open religious places, malls, restaurants, hotels and offices from tomorrow. Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry had on June 4th issued Standard Operating Procedures or SOPs to open up these places. As per the guidelines, generic measures need to be observed by all staff, workers or patrons at all times when visiting malls, restaurants or workplaces. These include physical distancing of at least 6 feet and use of face covers or masks. Respiratory etiquette to be strictly followed. This involves strict practice of covering one's mouth and nose while coughing or sneezing with a tissue, handkerchief or flexed elbow and disposing of used tissues properly. Self-monitoring of health by all and reporting any illness at the earliest to state and district helpline. All restaurants have been asked to ensure that takeaways are encouraged instead of dine-in. All staff and patrons to be allowed entry only if using face cover or masks. In case of religious places, the SOP advises people above 65 years of age, pregnant women, children below the age of 10 years to stay at home. Large gatherings and congregations continue to remain prohibited. Uttar Pradesh government has issued guidelines for reopening religious places, malls, hotels and restaurants from tomorrow. Our correspondent reports that while the majority of the guidelines adhere to those advised by the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the state government has put some additional restrictions.
Guidelines issued by Chief Secretary Rajan Kumar Tiwari read that all religious places will have to follow instructions issued by the local administration. Not more than 5 people can gather at a time in a religious place. At the same time, it will be mandatory for everyone to wear a mask. Air conditioners can be run, but temperature should be between 24 to 30 degrees. Touching the statue will not be allowed and offering will not be distributed. In the shopping malls, hotels and restaurants, CCTV should be functional. Crowded events cannot be held in hotels or restaurants. Food courts or restaurants can see customers at 50% capacity only. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, addressing district magistrates and district police heads through video conference, has emphasized on extra alertness to break the chain of COVID-19. The number of corona cases is sharply increasing in the state and it has crossed the figure of 10,000. So far, 268 people have lost their life. At the same time, 5,908 patients have got cured and discharged. MS Yadav, Jaya News, Lucknow.
In Madhya Pradesh, Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain will be reopened for devotees from Monday with new guidelines. As per the new system, devotees who wish to visit the temple will have to register their names first. A report.
The temple will be kept open between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. as per the central guidelines. Temple Management Committee's Administrator S.S. Rawat informed that people can register their names from Sunday afternoon. Apart from sanitization and thermal scanning, the temple administration is also set up a toll-free number for the devotees to book an appointment. However, the devotees will not be allowed to attend the Bhasmarti. Almost similar safeguards will be followed to prevent the spread of corona infection in other prominent temples of the state. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The recovery rate of the COVID-19 patients has improved to over 72% in Rajasthan. The number of active cases in the state now stands at 2,605. More from our correspondent.
About 5 lakh samples of COVID-19 have been tested in the state so far. More than 18,000 samples are being tested every day. Meanwhile, the state government has given permission to open restaurants, clubs, malls and other hospitality units from June 8th in the state, keeping a distance of 6 feet between 2 tables in the restaurant and follow SOP issued by Health Ministry will be mandatory. The state government has also decided to set up a committee under the chairmanship of District Collector to reopen religious sites, which included district level officials and religious leaders. The committee will also recommend various measures to prevent the spread of COVID infection. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Churches and mosques will not reopen in Goa despite permission from the central government to do so, with leaders of the respective communities saying that the situation is still not conducive for reopening places of worship. Church authorities have declined to open churches for worship and prayers from tomorrow. A spokesperson for the church said, keeping in mind the novel coronavirus situation, churches in Goa are not in a position to open from tomorrow. Several churches, including the Archbishop of Goa, have been streaming the religious services live for the benefit of their congregations. Association of All Goa Muslim Jamaats has said that until June 30th, they have requested all mosques not to open their doors to followers in view of the spike in cases of COVID-19 in the state. In Puducherry, all temples and hotels are being allowed to function from tomorrow. Guidelines in this regard have been issued. We have a report.
In a special interview to Air News, Mrs. Purva Karg, Secretary Tourism, said that people could eat in the hotels from June 8th onwards by adopting social distancing.
I would like to reiterate the specific points which are very crucial for our hospitality sector. One is the housekeeping part, wherein there is direct contact of the staff with the guests and also some of the linen and the material which could prove a little dangerous for a staff. Therein, proper measures need to be ensured by the hospitality sector. Secondly is the room service or the food serving part of the hospitality. Next being the luggage management, wherein proper disinfection of the same should be ensured. The vehicle parking, we could either have valet parking or ensure that all the cars do not sort of gather around and create a jam or a lot of people's gathering. All the common areas like your reception, your elevators, your waiting rooms should be regularly disinfected as per the guidelines.
Mrs. Purva further emphasized that the lodges should collect the details of the people who check in, and in case of any old people getting sick, it should be informed to the government. To the maximum extent, people e-wallet may be used for making payments. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
The central government today said the COVID-19 recovery rate is 48.2% in the country and the total number of recovered people from coronavirus reached 1,14,073. During the last 24 hours, 4,611 people were cured of the infection. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Dr. Harshvardhan said the recovery rate is continuously improving.
लगातार तब से जब हम पिछले दिन के मुकाबले बात करते हैं तो हमारा रिकवरी रेट बेहतर होता है। यानी कि जितने भी देश के अंदर आज तक मरीज कोविड से बीमार होकर पॉजिटिव सिद्ध हुए हैं, उसमें से आधे के करीब जो है 48% से ज्यादा जो मरीज हैं वो ठीक होकर ज्यादा से ज्यादा तकलीफ के बावजूद भी वो अपने घर में जा चुके हैं। और जो बाकी बचे हुए लोग जिनको हम एक्टिव केसेस कहते हैं, इलाज जिनका चल रहा है, इसमें भी मेजॉरिटी जो मरीज हैं वो रोड टू रिकवरी यानी ठीक होने की दिशा के अंदर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। दुनिया के अंदर सबसे कम मोर्टालिटी या फैटालिटी रेट यानी कि जो मृत्यु दर है वो सबसे कम हमारा भारत के अंदर है।
The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said 9,887 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 2,36,657 in the country. It was the highest spike in new cases in one day since the outbreak of corona pandemic in India. During the last 24 hours, 294 deaths were registered, taking the nationwide toll to 6,642. The case fatality rate is 2.8% in the country. Air India sold over 22,000 seats in just 15 hours for destinations in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom and Europe for the third phase of Vande Bharat mission. Civil Aviation Minister tweeted that nearly 65,000 people have been brought back since 6th May under the mission. Looking at the overwhelming response, the national carrier said today that it will offer more seats on its flights under the third phase of the Vande Bharat mission. Sale of tickets for the flights under the third phase of Vande Bharat mission commenced at 5 in the evening yesterday, and by 8 in the morning today, maximum number of tickets have already been booked. In a statement, Air India stated that its website saw an exceptionally high traffic with over 6 crore visits in a short span of time. This traffic is considered to be 6 to 7 times more than the usual website hits. Air India will operate around 300 flights from Europe, Australia, Canada, US, UK and Africa between 10th of this month and 1st of July during the third phase of the Vande Bharat mission. A total of 910 Indians returned from various countries yesterday under the Vande Bharat mission. In a tweet, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said these Indians have returned from Nairobi, Kuwait, Djibouti, Frankfurt, Kuwait, Ho Chi Minh City and Jeddah. He also lauded the efforts of Air India, External Affairs Ministry and Indian missions abroad in this regard.
The National Chemical Laboratory NCL Pune has developed an indigenous nasopharyngeal swab for collecting samples from the throat cavity of COVID-19 patients. NCL Director Dr. Ashwini Kumar Nangia said this is an excellent example of optimizing the polymer specifications and validating the chemical analysis of an urgently needed medical swab product in a very short time. The NCL has transferred the technology of indigenous NP swabs for sample collection to a Mumbai-based chemical company. The company will be able to produce 1 lakh NP swabs per day. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. States gear up to open religious places, shopping malls, restaurants and hotels from tomorrow. Religious places in Uttar Pradesh to open with additional restrictions. Churches in Goa not to open from tomorrow. Delhi government asks private hospitals not to deny admission to suspected COVID-19 patients. Indian naval ship Jalashva carrying 700 stranded Indian nationals to arrive in Tuticorin today. And OPEC and its allies agree to cut oil production by about 10% till July this year. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Delhi government has said that suspected patients of COVID-19 cannot be denied admission by any hospital in Delhi. In an order, it said that all hospitals operating in Delhi shall ensure that no patient who is having COVID-19 symptoms and is in moderate or severe category be denied admission on the pretext that patient is not having a COVID positive report. It also directed that all such patients may be kept in COVID suspect patient area till the test report is received. If found positive, then the patient shall be kept in the COVID hospital and otherwise transferred to a non-COVID hospital for further management. This decision came in the wake of several complaints that people having symptoms of coronavirus infection are denied admission to the hospitals. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 143 new positive cases were reported yesterday, including 100 from Kashmir Division and 43 from Jammu Division, thereby taking the number of corona positive cases to 3,467. Of these, 2,302 are active positive, 1,126 have recovered, while 39 deaths have taken place due to this pandemic. In Jammu and Kashmir, people have welcomed the easing of lockdown restrictions and resumption of construction working. Sadr Hussain of Shan Mohalla and Panchayat Gul said they are happy that the development activities have resumed.
सरकार को शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं कि जो लॉकडाउन में हम बैठ कर रहे, सिर्फ ये काम मिला हमें, इसी की वजह से हम काम काज अपना घर चला सकते हैं। हम पहले ब्लॉक डिपार्टमेंट को शुक्रिया अदा कर सकते हैं जिसने कहा कि गरीबों जिम्मेदारों को काम दे दो, घर दे।
In Bihar, 233 new COVID-19 cases were reported during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of coronavirus patients to 4,831. 3,454 migrant workers who had come from different parts of the country were tested positive. 95,473 samples have been tested so far in the state. 2,298 patients have recovered from corona and discharged from hospitals. 2,503 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals of the state. The recovery rate of cured patients is 48%.
The Maharashtra government has formed a 4-member committee to ascertain the rates of COVID-19 tests conducted at authorized private laboratories in the state, and the new rates will be fixed within 7 days. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, has allowed 44 government and 36 private laboratories in the state to carry out coronavirus tests. While the tests are free at government laboratories, the ICMR fixed charges at private laboratories at Rs 4,500. Health Minister Rajesh Tope said that the kits required for conducting the test were being imported earlier. Now kits are being manufactured in the country itself and are available. Hence, ICMR has conveyed to negotiate with the private laboratories and fix the test rate. It added that the rates will be finalized in 7 days. It further said that the private laboratories can charge for tests at current rates fixed for the district in which they are located till the new rates are finalized. Meanwhile, in its advisory, BMC said that all corona-positive patients who do not have symptoms or have mild symptoms need not rush to the big hospitals for admission when the test result is positive. It said that the health department will guide such people to nearby corona care centers. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In West Bengal, 435 persons were tested positive for corona infection in the last 24 hours in the state. This is the highest number of people attacked by the pandemic in a single day in the state so far. According to the State Health Department, 7,738 people have been attacked by the virus. 17 persons died of the virus during the period, taking the total number of deaths toll to 311. 207 people were released from different hospitals after recovery in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of discharged patients to 3,119. The rate of recovery from corona infection has also marginally increased and stands at over 40%. In Sikkim, 4 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday, taking the total number of active cases in the state to 7. Director General of State Health Department Dr. Pempa Shering Bhutia informed this in a health bulletin. A report.
Of the 4 new cases, one is a 22-year-old returnee from Maharashtra. Another infected person is 21 years old who was staying at a facility quarantine. He is a relative of a person who had tested positive on 3rd June. The newly infected person has been shifted to the new STNM hospital near Gangtok and 27 of his contacts have been identified for tests. Dr. Bhutia informed that the 2 other new positive cases have been confirmed from test reports received from North Bengal Medical College in West Bengal. Dr. Bhutia added that immediate contact tracing has been done for all the new positive cases. He also informed that the person who was the state's first COVID-19 case reported on 23rd May has again tested positive but has a low viral load. He appealed to people to maintain social distancing, wear face mask and follow all other guidelines. Vesikat Sarkar, Parijat Sharma from Gangtok for AIR.
In Tamil Nadu, the police has collected about 10.5 crore rupees as the fine for violation of lockdown restrictions. The police have seized over 4.5 lakh vehicles for travel in violation of the norms, exposing the motorists themselves and others to the viral infection. Nearly 5.5 lakh FIRs have also been filed by the police yesterday. Most of the violations are related to failure to wear masks, followed by casual travel on the roads. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 tally reached 30,152 yesterday. 1,458 people were tested positive, including 1,146 from Chennai. 633 people were discharged after recovery, while 19 died of the disease in the last 24 hours. Both new infections and the death count reached new heights yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The State Education Department is busy preparing exam halls for the 10th standard board examinations. About 9.79 lakh students are appearing for the examinations from the 15th of this month. The department has said those coming from containment zones will be seated in a separate room in the exam halls and a separate travel arrangement for them will be made. Thermal scanners have been made available at all the exam centers for screening the students for fever before entering the halls. Reusable face masks will be given to all the students and their admit cards have already been released on the website for downloading. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa allowed restaurants and hotels to open in the state following the guidelines of Union Government. The Hotel Owners Association and the transport companies' representatives assured the Chief Minister that they would strictly follow the government's guidelines. The Chief Minister held a meeting with Tourism and Transport Department and stakeholders regarding promotional drive to revive tourism and to remove several obstacles. The delegation of Bus Owners Association and Hotel Owners Association and Taxi Owners Association who participated in the meeting placed their demands before the government. Indian naval ship INS Jalashva carrying 700 stranded Indian nationals will arrive in Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu today under Operation Samudra Setu. The ship, which had reached Male, the capital of Maldives, on Thursday, departed for Thoothukudi on Friday. Under Operation Samudra Setu, Indian Navy is bringing back Indian nationals stranded abroad. More from our correspondent.
This is the third voyage of INS Jalaswa from Malé, but it is destined to Tuticorin for first time. The 700 Indian nationals aboard the ship will be happy to reach their homeland today. They will be guided by state health authorities for quarantine before they reach their hometown. INS Jalaswa has ferried around 2,000 people from Malé as part of Samudra Setu program, while another 685 were brought from Sri Lanka earlier this week. Maldives has seen evacuation of around 2,700 Indian nationals so far, and 3 Air India flights are scheduled later this month to bring back more people. Santosh Kumar for AIR News from Colombo.
Participating in AIR live phone-in program on COVID-19, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, requested people to download Ayush Sanjeevani app for understanding the measures for enhancing immunity and keeping themselves healthy in the difficult COVID-19 situation.
आयुष संजीवनी जो है आयुष मंत्रालय ने ये ऐप जारी की है। ये एंड्रॉइड प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी उपलब्ध है, iOS पर भी उपलब्ध है और ये ऐप एक प्रकार से आयुष के विधाओं के इंटरवेंशन की पूरी जानकारी देती है कि कैसे अपनी इम्यूनिटी को ठीक रखा जाए, कैसे हम घर में रह करके स्वस्थ रह सके। और साथ साथ में हमने ऐसा कोई इम्यूनिटी की गाइडलाइन को हमने यदि प्रयोग किया है तो उसको हम इस ऐप के माध्यम से लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि आप जानकारी दीजिए और मेरा निवेदन है कि आप कृपया इस एप्लीकेशन को डाउनलोड करें।
Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha also said that people suffering from pneumonia-like diseases should be more cautious and follow guidelines issued by Ministry of Ayush.
जिनको निमोनिया है या जिनको ये तंत्र संबंधित कोई भी बीमारी है वो जल्दी से कोरोना से संक्रमित हो जाते हैं यदि कोरोना से एक्सपोज हुए, घर से बाहर न निकले, ये सबसे प्रमुख बात है। घर में भी आप थोड़ा सा अलग रखें और बहुत ठंडे वातावरण में न रहें और गुनगुना पानी लगातार पीजिए और आयुष मंत्रालय की गाइडलाइन में लौंग और मिश्री को आप थोड़ा मुंह में रखें, दिन भर थोड़ा थोड़ा चूसते रहें और एक अपने छाती पर सेक करें और अपने नजदीक के चिकित्सक की सलाह लें।
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, President of Indian Medical Association Dr. Rajan Sharma said that citizens need to follow basic hygiene and social distancing norms.
Post-lockdown, when we are seeing these things opening up, please learn to respect these things. Follow rules, be honest, law-abiding citizens. For a population of 130 crores, you cannot have so many policemen and so many doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals to treat you. Please observe isolation in case of any problem. Consult your doctor and be truthful to your doctor.
The News Service Division of All India Radio and its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Aparna Agarwal, Professor Medicine, Lady Harding Medical College will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800-115-767. You can also ask questions on the telephone number 011-2331-4444. That is 011-2331-4444. And you can also post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by using the hashtag AskAIR. In an effort to guard against fake news being circulated on various platforms, we bring you our segment on fact-checking and mythbusters. A widely circulated video on social media wrongly claims that COVID-19 is a bacteria which can be treated with aspirin. The government has clarified that coronavirus is a virus and there is no specific medicinal cure available yet.
The Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP, has thrown open the gates of its countrywide health centres and hospitals for its veterans suffering from the novel coronavirus. ITBP Director General S.S. Deswal said the decision has been taken after the force came across media reports of people facing problems in getting admission or treatment at COVID-19 designated hospitals. He said ITBP Japans have sweated throughout their life and we do not want that they suffer, and hence all our veterans are being offered health services in case any one of them are affected by COVID-19. Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and allied nations have agreed to extend a production cut of nearly 10 million barrels of oil, or about 10% of global output, in normal times through the end of July, hoping to boost energy prices, which have been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic. Ministers of the cartel and outside nations like Russia met via video conference to adopt the measure aimed at cutting out the excess production, depressing prices as global aviation remains largely grounded due to the pandemic. It represents some 10% of the world's overall supply.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperature is expected to hover around 38 degrees Celsius with a partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder and lightning. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers today. The minimum temperature recorded was 23 degrees while the maximum will go up to 32 degrees. In the south, Chennai is expecting a partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 29 and the maximum will go up to 39 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 28 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 37 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius in Jammu while the maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. The city will see a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature was recorded at 12 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 29 degrees. The city will see a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 15 degrees Celsius and the maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees. The region will have a mainly clear sky. In Muzaffarabad, there will be a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. The minimum temperature was recorded at 18 degrees and the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's press comments. Most newspapers have covered the India-China border talks predominantly on their front pages. The Times of India writes, India-China army brass talks end on positive trajectory. The Hindu report on the same topic suggests that the border meet has set the stage for more talks. The Hindu reports India's COVID tally 5th highest in the world. The paper adds that between May 30th to June 5th, India recorded close to 9,000 new cases every day on an average. Hindustan Times headlines, Kejriwal warns hospitals against black marketing. The Asian Age quotes the Delhi CM as saying, hospitals denying beds to COVID positive will face action. Mail Today headline says that cases of armed robbery, snatching, car theft have risen in Delhi, posing a challenge to cops caught up in COVID duty. The Times of India reports Tiger gets life behind bars for killing 3 human beings. The Sunday Tribune says government set to revise women's legal age for marriage. And finally, Hindustan Times writes that as restaurants in Delhi await government nod to open, they are chalking out SOPs which include opening with just 30 to 50% seats, e-menus and cap on parking facility.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. States gear up to open religious places, shopping malls, restaurants and hotels from tomorrow. Religious places in Uttar Pradesh to open with additional restrictions. Churches in Goa not to open from tomorrow. Delhi government asks private hospitals not to deny admission to suspected COVID-19 patients. Indian naval ship Jalashwa carrying 700 stranded Indian nationals to arrive in Thoothukudi today. OPEC and its allies agree to cut oil production by about 10% till July this year. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and also on News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.